Hey guys, it's me, Meteor. Welcome to the last edition of my Q&A for this time. I'm sorry if I couldn't get to your question. There were a lot of questions you guys have given me, so I had to be selective. So if I don't get to yours, I'm sorry. Maybe next time. Anyway, let's start this off with Bob the Unamused Dark Matter. What about the Kirby community and games do you like the most and the least? Well, in terms of the Kirby community, I really enjoy the fact that they are the least toxic I've seen out of any fandom I've been a part of. I've been a part of many different fandoms. Let's see, I was in the Metroid fandom for a really, really long time, but they started, put it this way, once Metroid Other M came out, they just completely went crazy about how it was ruining Samus's character and all its other stuff, and how it was a terrible game, how the original creator of Metroid should just stop making Metroid games, and it's like, oh, yeah, despite the fact he, invented the series, I guess one bad game, I think he needs to go away. And then there was the whole Federation Force mishap. Now, don't get me wrong, I wasn't happy with how they handled Metroid Prime Federation Force, or the whole idea of it, but I'm not going to start a petition saying you should cancel and fire the person responsible for Federation Force, and go on and say how, I don't know, that was just a few minor things, but really, most other fandoms I've been to, Pokemon's probably the most toxic I've seen. Oh, you want to do anything competitive? That's fine. Want to do something that's even slightly off the wall and slightly different? Oh, you're a terrible battler. There are many other reasons there, but overall, the biggest drama I've seen in the Kirby fandom is maybe when Epic Yarn came out, and most people were just saying, oh, come on, what happened to the GameCube version? We wanted the original version. But usually ended up like, well, I'll give it a try anyway. Maybe it'll be good. Like, oh, giving a game a chance before it's released. Huh, imagine that. In terms of what I like the least about the community, I don't know, probably that the age group is lower than me for the most part. I'd say the average age group I've seen for Kirby games is around the age of 10 to 18, probably around there is where the age group is, whereas I'm 29, a little over the age group of that so much. But I'm not saying Kirby games are only for kids. I'll get to that later. In terms of other than that, the only other real problem I see is maybe repeating derogatory terms for a certain Zan Partisan character and saying, I'm not even sure if most people who are repeating it understand what that word even means, but that's just me. I really hope they would stop. In terms of Kirby games, now I love Kirby games. I can't stress this enough. I do like Kirby games. I think they're great, but one thing I do not like about Kirby games is that they never do anything real amazing. They usually play it safe and nice, which is good, but they never really make a game that's Game of the Year material. You're never going to see a game like Breath of the Wild or Ocarina of Time or Metroid Prime or Mario Odyssey. You're never going to see any of those real crazy amazing games done in the Kirby series. The Kirby series are good. Kirby games are good. The best one I can see is Superstar Ultra. But even that, I would not consider as a Game of the Year contender. They're good, but they're not amazing, mind-blowing types of things. I really want to see a game where they try to really go out of their way to do something different. All their attempts they've had so far seem to leave out very crucial things to make it great. But, I don't know, maybe in the future but, I don't know. We'll see. Jonathan McFall says, how would you make Dark Nebula better? Well, for one, I would give Dark Nebula a second phase. That'd be a good idea. Second, I would make all of its elements its own health bar. That way, if you defeat one element, you still have two more to deal with. And give it more HP at the very least. It was honestly very pathetic. It's like, hey, let's take this Miracle Matter style boss, give it 3 elements, and make it die in like 3 seconds. Alright, I mean, I understand some people are saying, well, Dark Roach is the first form, just think of it as a second form there. It's true. I could do that. The problem with that logic is, after the fight with Dark Roach, you have that, minute and a half trail of following Dark Nebula, following what kind of mystery it's going to do, taking you through the whole path, going to fight the very top, and the music that was playing was building up to something so great. It was building, you're ready for it, and nothing. It's like all that build-up was just amounting to nothingness. Now, I could see if they had that fight initially, like if they had that build-up going to the fight of Dark DeRoach, they see DeRoach there, get possessed by Dark Nebula, and then the fight starts. That would have been a better way of implementing it than how they implement it in the actual game. It just felt like a severe disappointment. And even if you're going to take away the triple star, some people are saying, oh, the boss is only easy because of the triple star. If you remember, I did the boss with no abilities. I did the entire arena of that game with no abilities, or the boss endurance, whatever. And look at its attack patterns it uses. They're still very pathetic attack patterns. But, I don't know, there are a lot of things you could do to make Dark Nebula better, but that's never going to happen. We're never going to see it. So, oh well. Edward Kudoli says, would you like a Kirby shmup? I would love a Kirby shmup. I've loved shmups a lot. I've played so many of them. Haven't really shown any on my channel before. Maybe I should show that new Toho game. Well, not new Toho game, but there's a Toho game I could officially get on Steam now, like a real Toho game. Maybe I'll show that off at some point. That'll be pretty cool for everyone else to suffer through my pain. I gotta admit, I'm not the best at shmups. My biggest claim to fame of my skill level is I beat Ikaruga with no continues on easy mode. Now, easy mode in Ikaruga is hardly easy, but I'm nowhere near the skill level of some people. Nowhere even remotely close. But I will have to see a Kirby shmup. The problem is I don't think I'll ever see a Kirby shmup. Shmups are such a niche genre that I don't think they would get too many sales if they did make Kirby shmup. As cool as that would be, I think the closest thing we'll ever get is that EOS Stratos Patrol, I think that's the name of it, from Kirby Mass Attack. It was like a full-fledged shmup game. It was pretty cool, pretty fun, getting the little power-ups, more Kirbys to tackle out and everything. It was nice. It was fun. Had original bosses with their own original movesets and stuff. It was pretty cool. But I think that's the closest thing we'll ever get to a real Kirby shmup. Ah well, no big deal. Newell201 writes, why do you do no abilities in the true arenas, and do you always do no abilities when doing a run of an arena? You wrote area there. I think you meant arena. But regardless, as to why I do with no abilities, that's honestly a good question. I'm not even sure myself of how that started. Because before I did my Let's Play of Return to Dreamland, the only real arenas I've completed or boss endurance I've ever done in the Kirby series, I usually just skipped those. The first one I ever beat was the one from Squeak Squad. I beat it with Tornado as a cheap little person. Second one I beat was a True Arena in Superstar Ultra, and that was with Hammer. I honestly wouldn't have even attempted a True Arena. I would have just stopped there if I didn't read in the forums that there was a secret boss at the end of the True Arena that dealt with Mark. So it was just like, really? I guess I gotta force myself to play through this, I guess, and had a pretty annoying time. Return to Dreamland, my original playthrough, I beat it with Spark. I beat the entire game, beat the entire True Arena with Spark. So it was super cheap. But, there's like something kind of noise there. But basically, I don't know what that is, like a piece of hair or something. Fuzz, I don't know. I'll blame my cat. Blame my cat for everything. Where was I? Oh yeah, but in terms of why I started doing no abilities, I can't honestly be sure about that. I started doing no abilities in my Let's Play of Return to Dreamland, the extra mode. I think maybe I might have seen a video of someone doing the True Arena or something with no abilities. I think it was Master Knight DH or something like that. I think he was the one who did it with no abilities or anything like that. No abilities, no healing. I forget if I started doing no abilities before or after that. I honestly don't remember how I started it. But I started doing the no abilities to my Return to Dreamland Let's Play, as I said, and ever since then, that's just ended up being a staple on my channel, and just went on further from that. So that's it. I honestly can't tell you why or how that started, but it did. So there you go. Zero Maru X says, what is the best and worst part about doing the What's Kirby Canon videos? The best part is the reception. Oh my goodness, the popularity and reception those videos get is insane, especially when Star Allies released. I was honestly seeing, when I first did my Kirby Canon series before Planet Robobot came out to build up hype for Planet Robobot, because honestly, my channel was pretty much dead at that point. I wanted to build a hype for Planet Robobot, so I started making them, and started noticing more and more hype for it going up. I'm like, oh wow, these videos are getting pretty good reception. That's nice. And then eventually by episode 10, after Haltman and Star Dream, kind of leveled out, started dipping in reception again, and then Star Allies came around and went higher, brought my channel to more attention than I've ever seen for ever. I've never seen this much attention on my channel forever. Literally forever. I'm greatly impressed by that. I'm very happy to see all you guys enjoying the series, all the reception it's getting. Really enjoy it. I'm very happy and for all the support. I hope you guys continue to watch my videos. I'll do my best to continue to make them. The worst part about doing Kirby Canon videos is also the reception on the other sides. Some people get legitimately upset with me for destroying their headcanons. Oh, Galactonite's not Kirby? Oh, let me go complain about that and tell you why you're wrong. Like, usually the biggest argument I see for that is, well, Kirby could grow up into be a different shade of pink. You don't know how Kirby's or whatever they do grow up to. They could just be an age bus where they get darker. I mean, that's true, but you can't just avoid the entire rest of the arguments I used. But whatever. I think the biggest one I felt that I got a whole bunch of backlash was the one where I started claiming the anime wasn't canon. Some person got legitimately upset with me and said my theories were trash simply because I didn't want to take the time to try and find a way to fit the anime into canon with the main series. I'm not going to try to fit something into the canon main series that's not canon. It doesn't make sense. Apparently this person also thought I was lazy for using that kind of mindset, and I don't know. So, but really, the backlash I get from my videos, for my Kirby Canon series, pales in comparison to all the stuff I do get from Kirby Canon, and I enjoy that. Now, I'm not saying I don't like criticism. I enjoy criticism. I really do. There's a very good example of criticism that I got that I'm very happy people told me about, for example. It was all the episodes I did up to Meta Knight. I had this little quirk with my voice, or my quirk with my words, that people never told me about before. In my first episode, I wanted people to tell me all the criticism, or tell me what they thought, because how can I improve if people don't tell me what I'm doing wrong? If no one tells you what I'm doing wrong, I can't improve. Well, it wasn't until the Meta Knight episode where people pointed out that I said the word actually way too much. I personally never noticed this. So when I went back and looked at the Meta Knight episode, and I was listening to how many times I said actually, I was looking at this video going like, wow, I didn't even realize I was saying it that much. So ever since then, I tried improving myself to avoid saying that word in its entirety, and if I do catch myself saying that word, I pretty much do an entire re-record of the video itself. And that's nice. It helps me to make the videos better without being so distracting by saying words like that. So once again, I appreciate criticism when it's valid. But anyway, I think I've talked about enough about that. Zero Mario also writes, do you think they should give us information in another way in the games, or do you think that the boss descriptions are fine? I think the boss descriptions are fine, giving us the main story, the basic gist of the story throughout the main series with cutscenes. That's fine. They've been doing a good job of that. Boss descriptions, that's fine. They've been doing a good job at that. They have tried implementing story in other ways too in the games. Not all of them always work. The basic example is Mass Attack's way of doing this. There was a lot of story given in that game, but not in the boss descriptions, and not in the story. No, the most of that story and the hidden gems in that game came from the quotes from DeRoach himself. But they were entirely random. If you look at the data mine of all the text that he said, there have to be thousands of different lines he says, and it's all random. And it also depends on where you are at in the game. So you can play through the game like 20 times and listen to, and play one random quote from him every single time, and you probably still won't get all the quotes he has to give. You pretty much have to sit there for hours upon hours upon hours. 99% of the quotes he gives are random things like, oh, there's this random enemy you can take out doing this way. Do you know that? Oh, thanks. How about you give me some story or lore instead of, you know, how many people... There should have been a separate section for lore with the Roach. So, I think there needs to be a balance. I think needs to be a good way of explaining the story basic to the story mode, and that's what they've been doing. The boss descriptions, of course, but maybe even add some lore somewhere else, as long as that lore isn't away from the games. I think the biggest problem with this isn't even Miiverse at this point. They recently, for Team Kirby Clash Deluxe, they released story lore to that game in a magazine distributed in Japan known as Nintendo Dream. It was in Japan only, and if you get it and even import it, you would have to get it translated to understand it. Why on earth they would give lore to a game that made no sense to begin with in a Japanese exclusive magazine makes no sense. That's getting way off. No, that's not how you do things. But I did end up getting a copy of that magazine, by the way. I did end up getting it translated. But it doesn't really make any more sense. If anything, it makes less sense the original story of that game, or lack thereof. In fact, some of the story seems like it kind of goes against established canon from Amazing Mirror. So really, because of that, I've had no really reason to make a canon episode about it, because I have no idea how to even approach it, to be quite honest. But, whatever. Moving on. Bring back pre-rendered backgrounds. 2K18 says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited for more Waluigi time are you? He's referring to the Brawl in the Family comic, Waluigi Time book, in which case, I get that a 100. I'm so sorry. That was terrible. It was a terrible joke. But really, I was very happy to hear that he was making some more comics in a book. I wanted to buy it immediately. And I did. Supported on my Kickstarter and everything. And, yeah, I really do enjoy his comics. I'm happy to see him again. It was a shame he stopped making comics because he was one of the last few good comic writers out there. In fact, there are only like maybe 2 or 3 webcomics I read anymore. Only really one of which is good on a consistent basis. The other ones are good maybe at least like... No, I'd say there are 2 good on a consistent basis. The other one is probably a hit or miss, like 10% good. The rest of it's absolute garbage. But, yeah. Moving on, let's see. ETHBK Ethan I forget what the rest of that stands for, something kid writes, which of your videos or series are you the most proud of, and which are you the least proud of? Well, obviously I'm most proud of the Kirby Canon series, that's why most of you are here. You guys are here to see all the canon and everything I wrote, and it's very nice to see the reception. I like seeing all the theories and stuff you guys come up with. I love seeing support, it makes me happy to continue making them. And like I said, I will be doing canon on Star Allies. Don't worry. You don't need to keep asking me. It will be coming. Just patience, please. I need time. But which one am I least proud of? There are a couple episodes of my Kirby Canon videos I'm less proud of. For example, I'm not very proud of all the episodes leading up to 7, where I said actually way too much. But the bigger one I'm least proud of is the most popular Kirby Canon video I've made, and it upsets me because of this. Number 2, Marks and the Novas. Almost everything I said in that Kirby Canon video is pretty much wrong and false at this point. Everything I said there is pretty much debunked, and even that original theory I came up with, it makes me upset. That video I probably did using the least amount of research out of any of my Kirby Canon videos. This is because I didn't honestly think it would become this big, and that upsets me. I really should have put more time and thought into that. I didn't even really discuss the story in the second one, Marks and the Novas, without discussing it with everyone else. Even the original one, Magolor and the Ancients, I did discuss with somebody, but I decided not to discuss the second one either, and therefore I came up with some stupid theory like, hey, there are 2 Novas in Superstar Ultra, despite the fact that it clearly is the same Nova, if you could tell by the way its eye at the top is. And at this point, everything is incorrect. It is the most incorrect, inaccurate, most least researched video out of my entire Kirby Canon series, and it's the most popular. That upsets me so much because that's people's first impression of my videos. They can see that, be like, oh, this guy doesn't know what the crap he's talking about, and just immediately view it afterwards. But it is what it is. Can't really help it. It's there. Kirby Canon 2.0 is really the best I can do, if they even get to 2.0, to look at that before ready to comment on how I'm wrong. I've tried putting an annotation about it, a pinned comment about it, a description about it. They still post comments about saying how I'm wrong in that episode. Oh well. But in terms of series I'm least proud of, it's not that I'm least proud of them, but I kind of sort of regret making the Meteor Storms videos, simply because some people don't understand, or if those videos are the first videos people see on my channel, they're gonna think I don't know what I'm talking about. For example, the first one I made, how not to tell a story of Planet Robot, some people thought I was saying that Planet Robot had a bad story. I clearly did not say that. If you listen to the first two sentences, I said, I even confirmed that it was the best story out of any Kirby game. It's just the way they told the story. But I think the bigger problem with that is that people thought that I didn't understand the story, that I thought it was too confusing, and people are saying, "Oh, you idiot! You don't see that he's the real. You didn't realize that Susie's his daughter." Blah blah blah. I'm like, yes, I know. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying normal people who play these games, who don't do this kind of research, won't get that kind of information. And then there's the latest one I did, which I probably regret the most out of all of them, is the Kirby is a kid's game. I personally thought that if people saw that I made Kirby content this much, played as many Kirby games, and loved Kirby this much, I figured if I gave a title like that, they would get the benefit of the doubt and see what I had to say before posting a comment. Oh, how wrong I was. People are trying to convince me that Kirby games are for everyone, and that if I say that they're for kids, that I don't know what I'm talking about. That was kind of what I was saying in the video itself, if you would have watched it. But whatever. Another big problem people talk about is how I tried comparing Kirby to My Little Pony. I like My Little Pony, so I was trying to say that, and the context I was using was kind of funny too. I was using the context that I could explain how much of a great show My Little Pony is by talking about the dark villains and talking about the story, but people wouldn't listen to me because they have preconceived notions of the show and wouldn't want to watch it anyway, just basing it as a children's show, which is exactly what people were doing when they were insulting me, saying how dare I compare My Little Pony to Kirby. Now, if people legitimately watched My Little Pony and gave this kind of comments, fine. But I highly doubt what people were doing. They were just giving, once again, preconceived notions that My Little Pony sucks, and therefore they were just insulting. So the point is, I wasn't insulting Kirby by saying it's like My Little Pony. I was saying My Little Pony is just as good as Kirby, but because I like both. But whatever. It is what it is. I'm not taking out the video. It's already posted. And you know what? Sometimes reading all the salt and tears is just great to go with my bag of popcorn. It's enjoyable sometimes, but not all the time. Not all the time at all. Moving on, though. We were already at 22 minutes. I have like 8 questions to go. Alright. YOLOmation Animation says, do you plan on maybe expanding the What is Canon series to other games? I was debating this on multiple occasions, but the reason why I started the What is Kirby Canon series is because no one ever discussed canon of the Kirby series, and Kirby has a pretty good established canon, so I figured if I made a series about this, it might get some pretty good reception. I was not expecting this kind of reception. This is way beyond my expectation I originally had for this series, but in terms of if I would expand to other series, the only one I could ever see myself doing is maybe talking about Metroid. I do love Metroid. I do know a lot about the story of Metroid, but honestly, there's so much story there, I don't even know where to begin. And the bigger problem is, everyone talks about the story of Metroid and Zelda, but no one ever talked about Kirby. So would it even get as much popularity as my Kirby series to begin with? And would people be nearly as interested into it? There's also Mario, but Mario's canon constantly contradicts itself on many occasions. I don't even know what even is canon. Bowser loves Peach. Bowser wants to kill Peach. Bowser's good friends with Mario, but just kind of hates him at times. Bowser wants to legitimately kill Mario. Cranky Kong is Donkey Kong's father. I mean grandfather. It's just, there's so many conflicting opinions, different mixed feelings there. really, giving canon's almost impossible of that series. But yeah, maybe you'll see a What is Metroid canon at some point. Who knows? I'm not counting it out, but that's probably as far as I would go in terms of other series. But who knows? Danny Najira writes, will you do a video talking about the timeline of Kirby? I plan to after all other canon is fully written and done on my channel. I have no other canon to talk about Kirby. That's when I'll tackle a timeline of the Kirby series. But let me tell you something. The answer to what the timeline is isn't nearly as exciting as most people think it is. In fact, sometimes the most logical answer is the most common answer. Or how's that quote go? Sometimes the most unexpected answer is the expected. Whatever. You know what I'm trying to say, probably, maybe. Who knows? Let's see. Matthew Silva Souza says, do you think YouTube can become your full-time job in the future? If so, what are your plans to make your channel grow even more? Well, I've talked about my plans for my channel, a little series I plan to do and try to help boost more stuff to my channel. I would like to do collabs at some point, if people would be willing to do collabs with me, but people are like, oh, do a collab with Ant Dude. Oh, that would be great and awesome if he would even acknowledge I exist. That's the thing with big name YouTubers, is that even if they do acknowledge you exist, if you don't have a similar amount of subscribers, you can't really network with them. So you pretty much have to work your way up by yourself, for the most part. Do I think it could become my full-time job in the future? I can say for the first time I've ever had my channel for the entire, since 2009, that I could finally see it as a possibility of happening. Oh, a very good possibility? No. But a slight possibility. I could see it happening. And that would be really nice. I would love to dedicate my entire life to my channel. That would be awesome if I, could just, I would have so much more free time to just make videos, and work would be a lot less stressful having to worry about keeping a stable job or having insurance or anything like that. You could just make YouTube videos. But that's more so a dream, not really a business model or responsible thinking. So do I think it's possible? Possibly, maybe. Do I think it's likely? No. But there's always hope, I guess. Bean232 writes, would you like to see another Amazing Mirror style game? Definitely, yes. You know I love Metroid games. I love Metroidvania games. Amazing Mirror, I think, was great. They just needed to fix a lot of problems with the game. First off, remove dead ends. You don't need dead ends in a Metroid game that doesn't even make sense. I understand you have to have goals in Kirby games, like, oh, goal game, but no, not in a Metroidvania. Those don't belong there. Another thing you should do in Metroidvania is constantly block off your way of path. Metroidvanias, even if you have multiple paths you could go, you can always backtrack if you feel like, I don't feel like going this way, and then go here later. You always come back to it. Amazing Mirror is like, I'm going to go this way. Ka-chunk! Oh, I guess I can't go back if I want to check anything else out. I guess I'm blocked here. Okay. Do I have the ability to get this treasure here? No. I guess I'll just go back around again, and hopefully I don't make the same mistake again. Yeah. And if they use the ability scroll system that Squeak Squad used, and maybe used it in a way to power up your abilities to access areas you couldn't access before, like for example, the fighting ability, you could have a power up for the fighting ability that could break larger blocks to have you progress further that way. It'd be kind of neat if they could give you ability scrolls that way, so it would feel like kind of like a more Metroid game. But really, and also, it's just the whole mapping system didn't feel like it worked together. It was just a bunch of random mirrors and random doors to different places taking you to random spots. It didn't feel like a really... I would say the Great Cave Offensive felt more like a Metroid game than the Amazing Mirror did. The Great Cave Offensive had cohesive level design altogether, whereas the Amazing Mirror was just like, let's throw that there, throw this here, yeah, great, send it, ship it. But yes, I would like to see another Kirby Amazing Mirror game style. as long as they fix all the glaring faults and issues the first one had. Nintendo fan writes, did you ever watch the Kirby anime in its entirety, and what's your opinion on the anime in general? I never watched the entire anime. I've only ever watched a few episodes, and honestly, I'm not a fan of the anime. I do not like the anime. I think it goes against everything I loved about the Kirby series, and I didn't really like the characters too much either. I don't know. That's just me. You guys could like this. You could guys like the anime all you want. I'm not saying the anime sucks. I'm not claiming that. I'm just saying it's not for me. That's all. John Ford says, if you were stuck on a desert island that somehow has electricity with a game console that plays everything, which 3 games did you want to have with you? Let's see. That's easy. Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, and Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime because its game is timeless. I love that game, and maybe in that amount of time, I could teach myself how to sequence break properly, like some of those real experts of the game do. Some of the things those guys skip is incredible. I really am amazed by them. And maybe I would like to do that myself. Breath of the Wild is just so huge. There's so much to do. If I had all the time in the world on a deserted island, so I didn't have to worry about food or anything else, well, that game's going to keep you occupied for a long time trying to do everything. And Mario Odyssey is just a great game in general. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of stuff to mess around with. Is it the longest game? No, I 100%ed it in about 65 hours, but it is still a lot of fun. But, yeah, those are the 3 games I would choose. And finally, Sai7 writes, why did you decide to join YouTube, and why did you pick Kirby as the focus of your channel? Well, in terms of why I wanted to join YouTube, I had I made this back in 2009, I remember, so it was like 9 years ago. I had the mindset of, oh, I want to make a YouTube videos, I want to become popular, people view all my stuff. It was kind of like a stupid way of thinking that, like, I'm going to get famous kind of thinking before I really understood how YouTube worked. So, originally, my plan was to... Now, in Mario Kart Wii, most people... I used automatic. I used the Flame Runner in automatic mode, which is... And I had a 3-star rank in that game, and I had a 9,000 VR rating. People, when I did streams of that, were thinking, what is wrong with you? How do you have a 9,000 VR rating and you're using automatic? Well, I was able to beat almost pretty much every staff ghost in Mario Kart Wii using the automatic mode. I really wanted to post up those videos on YouTube and show them off. I never ended up doing that for some reason, because I didn't have a capture card available to record off the TV. So originally, I decided to make... But then eventually... I think it was when I was on Game FAQ, I was looking for Pokemon battles before I knew what Pokemon battling worked, before I knew about EV Chain and all that. I decided to battle some guy who apparently had his own YouTube channel. And he didn't really do any narrations, he just posted music in the background to it. And he posted up the battle I had with him. And I was looking at him like, oh, that's kind of a cool battle. I think he's since removed the battle from that. But it made me want to upload my Pokemon battles too. So once I learned about EV Chain and stuff, I started making my own, posting up my own videos on YouTube. And originally, for 2 years, my channel was purely Pokemon based. All Pokemon battles all the time. And that was interesting. There were 2 big people to that time who promoted me. And the first, they got me about, in total, they got me about 800 subscribers, which to me at that time was huge. The fact that I was promoted by these big name YouTubers who were Pokemon battling, I think it was Xenon and Castador Perfect, I was super happy about that. I couldn't believe that Xenon was like my role model at the time, Pokemon battling. The fact he liked my videos enough to talk about me was very motivational for me. But after that, it just started going, my channel started going more and more downhill. And originally, I decided I'm going to start making Let's Plays. Now, here comes the focus of why I decided to pick Kirby as the focus of my channel. The first Let's Play I was going to do was Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. When I said this, because no one, at this time, this is when not too many people posted Let's Plays of games on YouTube, there wasn't completely spammed with every video game you could think of on the entire thing of YouTube. Before, you couldn't get paid on YouTube to post videos of stuff. You were just doing it for your own fun. Well, I decided to go on someone's stream And we were talking about games of Let's Plays and everything. I'm like, I want to do Pokemon XD. No one's really done that game. A lot of people were telling me, oh yeah, it's a good idea. Good idea. No one really does Pokemon XD. It sounds like a good, awesome idea. So I was all ready to do my Let's Play, you know, getting the capture card and everything. And then I noticed 4 people, 4 big name YouTubers who were in the Pokemon community, who were also in that chat at the time, decided to post up their Let's Play of Pokemon XD. This is just how cutthroat the Pokemon community was for battling in those days. It was really bad. In fact, it's probably one of the reasons why I quit doing Pokemon battles entirely. One of the reasons. There are many reasons, but that's one of them. So then I decided, well, screw you guys. Alright, if you guys are going to post on Pokemon XD, I'll do another Let's Play. Why not? I'll do Kirby 64. Sure, why not? I intentionally did Kirby 64 because I thought it was an overrated Kirby game, and I wanted to explain why it was so overrated and why it was so much worse than every other Kirby game. But after playing it, I ended up liking it far more than I originally did. And I also noticed after about 3 Kirby Let's Plays that the subscribers I was getting for Kirby was much higher than I was getting for anything else on my channel. It's like, okay, let's see, my Pokemon battles have lost me 2 subs, whereas Kirby Let's Plays have gotten me about 100 in the same time frame. It was a really hard decision to quit Pokemon battling altogether, but honestly, there was no real benefit to keep posting battles. It was getting harder and harder to find a battle. People were thinking I was worse and worse of a Pokemon player. Less people were willing to battle me, and most people were just making fun of me and saying I was the reason why the Pokemon community was dying. Someone legitimately posted a video saying that about me. So I eventually just started doing straight all Let's Plays, and of course Kirby got the most popular. But then as, well, my channel was, as Planet Robot was coming out, my channel was near the verge of death. I just thought, you know what, this is my last chance. I'm going to try making the series I wanted to make, Kirby Canon. I had an idea for a long time. This idea originally came from, I think I mentioned this in one of my other Q&As, maybe it was a 10,000 sub special, but originally, someone gave me the idea, well, not really the idea, we were talking in a stream one time, talking about Kirby Canon, and someone said a question, I'm like, that's not canon, and I started going on explaining why it's not. So the person next to me, his name was Schwags, he told me, he just laughed, he said, well, what is Kirby Canon anyway? I was like, I'll get back to you on that. My original idea for this series was that it wasn't even going to be a series, it was just going to be me talking in front of a webcam showing off pictures of Kirby to explain my points of what Kirby Canon was. Then I started to realize that there was a lot more canon on Kirby than I thought there was, so I would do multiple episodes. I didn't think I would go beyond maybe 5 or 6. Well, boy was I wrong. There was much more information than even I thought there was after doing research. So then I noticed because of how popular the series was getting before Planet Robot, that really did help out my channel. And then I started noticing that pretty much here's like Mario and everything else on my channel, my Let's Plays in terms of subscribers. Here's Kirby. Well, guess which side I was going to join to do YouTube. Obviously, I'm going where the money is, essentially. Going where the followers are. Going where the reception is. And that, of course, is Kirby. Because I personally love Kirby, and I love seeing other people who love Kirby as well, and I'm happy to make videos for people who like Kirby. So there you go, that's the story of my channel. I'm sure that's way more than you asked for with that question, but really, I figured it was worth talking about. But with that, we've gone 38 minutes in this video already talking about my stuff. So with that, I think I'm going to end it off there. Thank you for all your questions. Sorry again if I could not answer your questions. But anyway, I hope to see you guys next time.